The frigid wind howled as it blustered through the valley, and Warren Torrix wrapped his fur-lined cloak tightly around himself, shivering. The night was filled with shadows cast by a pale sliver of moon. When the veil shrouding Praetoria was lifted, the guild, known as Team Possible, decided unanimously to relocate their hall and its surrounding buildings, including their arena, to this newly uncovered continent. Architects employed by the Order of the Scale oversaw the deconstruction of the guild's stronghold, its transport across the Splinter Sea, and its reconstruction on Praetoria. It was pricey, especially considering the amount of labor required to complete the move so quickly. But Team Possible was one of the most prestigious guilds in all the Splinterlands, and its coffers easily covered the cost. Besides, the convenience of being so close to Mount Mox and its tournaments more than made up for the expenditure. However, following the Chaos Legion invasion, Team Possible found themselves isolated and alone, fighting off assaults from legionnaires, dragons, and other eldritch beasts. They began to wonder if the price would turn out to be much higher, not in dark energy crystals, but in the blood and lives of their members. Now Warren stood atop the battlements surrounding the Team Possible stronghold. He and a handful of others were on night watch, prepared to alert the guild in the event of another Chaos Legion assault. He squinted into the darkness, searching for any sign of approaching danger. A star twinkled in the sky high above. No, not a star. It traced its path much too quickly, growing brighter and larger as it descended from the heavens. On the far side of the valley, the forest was lit by its glow. A contingent of Chaos Legion soldiers burst from the tree line. Dragons took flight. The object slammed into the valley with a thunderous crash, sending a cloud of earth and foliage into the air. Its lights winked out, and by the light of the moon, the Chaos Legion advanced toward the site of impact. Warren didn't know what the object was, but he knew if the Chaos Legion wanted it, Team Possible would not let them have it. He rang the massive steel gong that hung suspended above the battlements. As its knell resounded, the gates of the stronghold swung open, and members of the guild galloped forth, racing to meet the Chaos Legion. Dave of the McCoy clan, B.U., Mieke, Mother of Monsters, and Felius the Mellow led the charge. Imbued with the essence of various summoners, they raced around the crater left by the impact of the fallen object. They reined their steeds in and called forth elemental manifestations that met the first rank of the enemy's legionnaires head-on. The sky above began to swirl with shades of purple and black. A portal appeared, and an enormous leviathan emerged from it. Water dripped from its scales, and its taloned feet were webbed. Yet it flew, the bones of its wings extending beyond their membrane in wickedly sharp spikes. Upon its chest it wore runic armor, and a massive runic disc was attached to its back. As the Chaos Legion's airborne attackers descended upon the Leviathan, its armor and disc began to glow, and the disc began to spin. A blast of necrotic energy from a Chaos Dragon slammed into the portal, and it cracked, shattered, and dissolved into nothingness. With a roar, the Leviathan emitted a blinding flare of disorienting light and tore into its foes with teeth and talons. It made quick work of them, and when the last had fallen and crashed to the ground below, the Leviathan descended on the Chaos Legion that fought against Team Possible, scattering their ranks and sending the bloodied survivors fleeing. Stunned, David and the others watched in awe as the massive creature descended to the ground, folded its wings against its sides, and lumbered toward the crater. It retrieved the object that had fallen from the sky, a runestone, and turned to the guild. It communicated with them telepathically, thanking them for their aid and telling them of its quest to retrieve the lost runestones that had been scattered through time and space so that it could return home and save its race. In its native tongue, the Leviathan's name was unpronounceable, so they dubbed it Possibilus The Wise and agreed to offer their aid. In return, Possibilus promised to stand alongside Team Possible and the Splinterlanders against the formidable strength of the invading Chaos Legion.
Fallen from the sky, a giant in the night came to our world from Nayuldus. Traveling through time, he's hoping to find his way home through the runestones. Now an alliance was built with the Team Possible Guild to aid each other's cause. So the Legion should take note of the new formidable foe who'll bring order to chaos. Possibilus the Wise is shining his light and joining the fight. Possibilus the Wise, with the past and future free, he'll lead us to victory, to victory.